Now everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Everybody, Cantonese Cat here. This is a two-month chart of Bitcoin. What I'm showing you here is really a breakout of this horizontal range over here. If we're able to close the month of October right around where we're at, we really would have a bullish engulfing candle. Most likely we're going to end up pushing a lot higher. It'll be very much equivalent to what happened over here. And you can see there's a lot of similarities in 2023 and 2024 that I'm going to dive into here. On the monthly chart, you have the rising Tenkan that is able to finally push price up higher. It was just basically consolidating for months, went up and then went back down sideways and touch it, and then it was able to use that to build up energy to push price up higher. That's exactly what happened in 2023, right? And if you're also looking at the weekly chart here, you can see that over here you had a little bit of a bullish cross. Actually, it was a little bit of a katana here. When you had the bullish cross, it was really when it pushed price up a lot higher with the Tenkan and Kijun. Over here, we're about to get the bullish cross over here just because the price action so far this past week has been pretty decent. The week is not done yet, so we'll see. But today's Friday. You only got a couple of days to go before it closes. And right now, you look like you might be having an impending bullish cross over here. So I don't want to jinx it, but hey, you know, that's what I see is what I see. It did really flip this Ichimoku cloud from resistance over here to support over here throughout the entire year and a half. And right now, as you flip resistance from resistance to support, generally you're going to get a lot more bullish price action to kind of keep going up here moving forward. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here too with the fractal that I'm seeing. I really think that this candle over here is very, very similar to this candle over here in terms of the breakout. The one thing to kind of help you illustrate that is to look at the bull run support band. Initially, for 2023, you had price going sideways and broke down underneath the band. Eventually, it was able to flip it back from resistance here back into support, and then things just kind of went up a lot higher. Here in 2024, we again have broken down underneath the bull run support band. Initially, it was serving as resistance here for quite some time, but we're able to flip back from resistance to support. So everything is really telling me that I think we're going higher. And right now we're still hitting a little bit of resistance here before the God candle gets loaded. But I do think that the God candle most likely is going to get loaded, and it's probably going to go up to like the 70,000s here relatively quickly. Just because this consolidation over here has been happening for such a long time. A lot of energy has been building up. It's going to want to pick a direction. And the direction so far, based on what we're looking at, it looks like it wants to go up. The Bollinger Band also have very, very similar morphology over here as we do over here. And it does look like we have enough room for price to probably push up at least to like 71, 72,000 before going up higher. That's what it really looks like. Like everything is very, very favorable when it comes to Bitcoin. And right now there's really nothing to be scared about Bitcoin here. So anybody who thinks that Bitcoin is going to get like a whatever quadruple top or whatever is going to go down a lot lower, I think they're wrong. I really think that Bitcoin is kind of ready to make a pretty big move here. Of course, there's always a possibility for it to kind of go down. A lot of people are calling it to go down a little bit more. Perhaps tap the cloud here a little bit more, one more time before going up. But and if it does tap the cloud down here next week, it'll be around 60,000, and that would still be a bullish scenario here. Does it have to? It doesn't really look like it wants to be coming down. So it looks like it wants to load a God candle and just want to keep going. And right now, if you look at the closer structure here, it really just looks like it's just trying to form like higher highs and higher lows. And right now you have a trend reversal. It looks like it wants to just keep going higher. So don't bet against Bitcoin is what I would think. Again, none of this is financial advice. So, I mean, you shouldn't bet against Bitcoin anyway, unless if there's like a liquidity crunch. But right now, that's not the case. Right now, the entire global market is telling you that, yeah, money's being flushed in. So if you're short Bitcoin, or if you're bearish on Bitcoin, I don't know what else to tell you. Even the M2 money supply, the M2 global liquidity index is telling you that you have a big breakout. And right now it's just consolidating here, but you consolidate here in Bitcoin over here for quite some time. So I think that you're probably going to end up having a pretty decent breakout that is coming pretty soon. Now, if you also just want to look at a lower time frame, why is it that we're just not breaking above? Well, things take time. You just don't go up in a straight line, right? Nothing ever goes up in a straight line. So let's see what we're kind of dealing with here that is maybe preventing it from going higher. Now I got an 8-hour chart here, when you want to look at a lower time frame and try and see what it does. If I do a lower time frame chart here, I do 360 and 100 with a GAN, and it gives you some really beautiful market symmetry. And also did a Fibonacci level that goes back all the way to the all-time high here to the 49,000 low that we've experienced back in August. And you got this pretty beautiful market symmetry here that you can see that price is just kind of trying to flip from one arc to another, and then right now we're flipped to another arc over here, right? If anything, we had already got back to a little bit of a back test here in the arc over here. And the current situation is this. The current situation is you have a horizontal line over here around 68,200, 68,300, somewhere around there, and that could serve as continued resistance. But you also have flipped this area over here, potentially this 0.786 from resistance here to support. Now, if you're really able to if you're really able to close more candles here on the 8-hour above the 0.786, that really is generally a very bullish outlook. Generally means that price can just grab it up even a lot higher, and I can totally see it. It wants to maybe go up and kind of push up to ride up along with the angle up here to kind of go a lot higher from there. Now, you are building up a little bit of a bearish divergence here, which is never really like a good thing. But this is a very low time frame. So even with these kind of bearish divergences, sometimes they get negated, and that'll be fine. If we end up breaking down underneath the 0.786, then the God candle loading would be delayed, and it could potentially come back down here. The arc around 65. Don't want to scare you. 65, 66,000. Try to find some support here, maybe even a lot lower, and before going higher. Do I think that has to go back all the way down to 6.8 to back test that before going higher? No, I don't. This is looking like a very, very bullish structure. Even if it does that, there'll still be a very bullish outlook. But it just doesn't look like market makers want to give retail a chance to buy back lower anymore. It looks like they just kind of want to push it up higher over time. So we'll see. I mean, I don't want to be too deterministic about things, but what I'm seeing here is very, very bullish for Bitcoin. Looking at the 4-hour chart, something is kind of telling you, yeah, we are at an important juncture here. We are starting to have a 4-hour candle that's kind of stuck and wedged between the arc over here and the angle over here. Now, one thing or another is you're gonna have to break here. Let me see, 4-hour chart. One or another here is you're gonna have to break. Either you break through the arc and go up higher and ride the angle up, or you break through underneath the angle and just kind of go back down here around again 65,500, somewhere around there, right? So I don't know which way it necessarily wants to go. I think the most likely scenario is going to be up again, 65,500. But I think the most likely scenario is for it to go up at this point, just because of the impulsive price action, just because the market structure looking really strong, just because it just keeps on forming these cups and just wants to keep going up higher, kind of like how it formed the cups over here. It just wants to keep going higher, right? Another cup over here just wants to keep going higher. So we'll see. We're at an important juncture here. A lot of things are at resistance, and that can be shown to across the board with a lot of the Bitcoin proxies. I'm not going to go through like all the price targets for all of them. I just want to show you like a higher level picture in terms of what I'm seeing here. With MicroStrategy, well, it's been having a hard time breaking through the 1.618. It's just having a hard time breaking through 1.618. If it was able to do that, I think it can hit some of the targets up here around 4,500, maybe even higher. But it's just having a hard time breaking through, right? But it's relatively been a lot more bullish compared to Bitcoin. If you look at the MSTR or Bitcoin chart, you can wonder why MicroStrategy has kind of gone a little bit, not very well recently. Well, it's because if you look at the MSTR or Bitcoin chart, MicroStrategy just simply like way outperformed Bitcoin for a while here, and the MicroStrategy over Bitcoin chart ratio has been way outside upper Bollinger Band. It just simply went back inside here. Most likely, MicroStrategy still wants to outperform Bitcoin moving forward, and Bitcoin looks like it's ready to go. All these things are very positive here. Now, a couple other things too would be if you look at the Coinbase chart. Let's see what we're seeing here. You are basically bounced right off the 0.618, and it wants to craft it up to the 0.786. That's what it wants to do. And right now, you might be breaking out a little bit about the monthly tank, and the month's not closed yet. but you're trying to push through a lot of these different like resistance levels here. It's finally getting to do that on a 2-week Ichimoku cloud. You can see that is right now is right at resistance of the Tengen, right? So you're going to see this in a pretty consistent theme here. A lot of things are kind of right underneath resistance. Even pre-market right now is like right at resistance, right? Clean Spark, where is it at? Well, it's right at resistance. It's right at the top of the 2-week Ichimoku cloud, right? It's also going to be right underneath the 0.618 Fibonacci level. So it's at resistance, right? But we'll see. Like, it looks like it wants to break through, but we're at resistance, so be a little bit careful. Mara, where are we at right now? Well, we look like we're at this horizontal Gann resistance over here, right? And it's trying to break through, but not quite yet. On the monthly chart, it's at the kitchen resistance over here, right? Bitfarms, what's going on? Kitchen resistance over here. It is still respecting the angle for the most part. I think it's probably going to bounce, but it's one of the laggards. It's just one of the laggards. I can't say anything else. But am I going to get worried if it breaks down underneath the angle? Probably not. I mean, it breaks down the angle all the time, just bounces right back up. So I'm not too worried about it. I think Bitfarm may actually be a little bit more of a Tsubi-ichi, 2-week Tsubi-ichi cloud story, where it's just kind of stuck in the range inside the Tsubi-ichi cloud. So I'm not really that worried about Bitfarms the way that it's looking right now. But yeah, the Bitfarm's lagging. But Cypher is looking pretty decent, you know. Cypher is breaking above the Ichimoku cloud, and Cypher is one of those that it doesn't seem like we're near that, you know, resistance. Although $5 is going to be a pretty strong psychological resistance here, but it doesn't seem to be like at one of the key resistance here on the Fibonacci or the Ichimoku or anything like that. It's just kind of hanging out in space until it hits maybe like 5.3 or something like that. That might be a little bit more resistance up there. Iron, same thing. It looks like it wants to break up, but you're also at, you know, a lot of these kind of resistance down there, right? Wolf, same thing. It looks like we got rejected off this arc over here. Right now we're getting back close to the arc over here. Maybe we need to kind of wedge through the angle here in the arc to kind of push through eventually. But right now we're at resistance. You know, I can keep going on and on. Even Riot, a lot of people are getting really bullish on Riot. Riot's at resistance too. It's at the arc resistance over here, and even if it goes up a little bit higher, it's going to be at the resistance here, the Kijun, right? So am I bullish on these? Yeah, I am, but they are at resistance, so I just want you to have a little bit of like a realistic thought here. They ran a lot. So like Riot ran from like 6.3 all the way to like 9.5, right? They ran a lot already, and it's completely reasonable for you to kind of think about, hey, maybe we should kind of take a break here, right? Clean Spark went from like $8 all the way to like 12. Is it possible that it ends up taking a break from here, getting close to resistance, even though Bitcoin is doing extremely well? Probably so. I just want, like, the whole point of doing these exercises is not so much I want to trade in and out of these things. I want to play the whole general cycle, and I think that it's going to be smart to play cycle here because it is still a bull trend. For example, looking at Clean Spark, it just breaks through 3 Fibonacci level, backtest 2, break 4 Fibonacci level, and backtest 2. These are bull trends. Like, these are very, very impulsive bull trends on the higher time frame. And if you are able to look at the higher time frame, if you don't want to miss the forest for the trees, then all you got to do is just look at the 20-month moving average. It's been serving as support across the board, right? It's been serving across the board here for Clean Spark. For Coinbase, it's not even, actually, I should probably not use the Bollinger Band because it looks all weird. But if you just simply do the 20-month moving average, you can see Coinbase got close to bounce from it. Clean Spark bounced off of it. Mara bounced off of it. Bitfarm's trying to bounce off of it. Cypher bounced off of it. Iron bounced off of it a while back and is already ready to go. Wolf bounced back a long time ago and is ready to go. BTBT is bouncing off of it. Riot is still underneath, right? This is part of the reason why I'm not in Riot, but this is happening across the board. Even HUD 8 is bouncing off of it. You know, Hive, you know, other like smaller miners, they're not quite ready yet because they're still underneath resistance. Like Hive, DigiHost, they kind of look like Riot. You know, they're just kind of underneath the rising 20, which is not the best look. BitDeer, well, why is it having a hard time breaking out? Is because it's underneath the underneath a downward sloping 20. You know, there's also other ones here too, like Annie is one of those other people ask me underneath the 20, not ready yet. Miji underneath the 20, not ready yet. right? But the overall sector, if you look at it, we're going to make it WGMI ETF for the Bitcoin miners. It's just been riding up the rising 20-month moving average. It looks like it wants to go up higher over time. So don't miss the forest by staring at the trees. Not financial advice. But anyway, take care. I just want to share with you some thoughts. I think something big might be happening soon. I just want to get ahead of it before it happens so I can take credit for it later. No, it's fine. And if it doesn't happen, I'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I'm still learning. Take care, guys. Bye.